Hi guys, and welcome to another video from Stupid as the Norm, the channel where we demonstrate how to become a millionaire in 10 years on minimum wage. And in this video I'm going to discuss why it's important that we remember that none of us are getting out of here alive. Picked a guy up not so long ago in my cab, an elderly gentleman. I picked him up from outside his house and he jumps into the cab and I says, "Right Morris," because his name comes up on the data head. "Right Morris, so we're going to the hospital, right?" He says, "Yes son, that's right." So I says, "Nothing serious, I hope?" And he said, "Oh, I've got blood cancer, son. They'll give me 18 months. And I stopped a bit shocked. And eventually I spoke again. I said, "Well, you seem to be taking it very well." He says, "Oh, well, son," he says, "we're all going to die, you know. The only difference is with me that I know when I'm going to die." And we chatted for a bit more on the way to the hospital. And he told me how he'd lost his wife 7 years earlier to cancer and his daughter only recently to alcohol. We get to the hospital and he leaps out the cab, and I couldn't let him go without saying something, so I shouted, "Morris!" And he turned round and I stretched across and put my hand out and says, "See the other side, mate." And he reached across and shook my hand. He says, "Thanks, son." You know, most of us are in denial that we're going to die sometimes, that we're going to live forever. Morris wasn't. Morris knew he had 18 months tops. Sometimes I lie in bed at night on my left hand side and I can feel and hear my pulse throbbing in my left ear. It's the sound of my heart beating. It's like a clock. But you know, whilst it's kind of comforting, my heart one day, just like a clock, is going to stop. And then I quickly turn over my right side, hoping that I don't hear it stop. It's easy to believe that you're going to live forever, especially when you're young. You know, when you're young, you've got 40, 50 years of work ahead of you. You don't have to give any mind to death. You don't believe in death. But even if you did believe in the concept of death, it's so far ahead of you, it's really not worth considering. But you know, sometime in the future, you're going to have to stop work. Sometime in the future, you're going to have to retire. And you have to prepare for it now. It's much easier to prepare for it now than it is when you got to my age, when I stopped being stupid at age 57. The reality is that just like your heart, your work clock is ticking. And just like your heart, one day it's going to stop. And you'd better be prepared. Now Morris, the guy I spoke about earlier, I picked up from a large council estate, and Gates said he had 18 months to live. Morris had left it too late. I've not seen the guy since. He might be dead by now. But the thing is, the reason I make these videos is so you don't become someone like Morris. If you're 18 now watching this video, you can avoid that fate. You can become a millionaire when you retire if all you do is invest in a Vanguard stocks and shares ISA, 2 hours of your weekly wage. From now until the time you retire, you'll be a millionaire. Maybe you're a little older than 18-year-old, like I was, or am, and you need to get a bit more bang for your buck, so you might have to get involved in property in order to get your return in such a short time. But that's possible too. That's why I'm making these videos. Now the purpose of today's video is to try and enforce the fact that you're going to die, that nobody gets out of here alive. We're all going to die. Morris had an advantage. He'd had a full life. I'm guessing he was in his 70s or 80s, but he had 18 months left. He had a full life. You might not have the span that Morris had. You might be dead in 20 years. I'm sorry to sound a bit down on this, but that's the reality. None of us know. We don't come with an expiry date. So maybe you should do something about it today. Don't wait till you're in your 70s, because it will be too late. Do something about it today, because the work clock, just like your heart clock, is ticking and you don't know when it's going to stop. So do something today. Remember, tick tock, tick tock, tick. Don't be stupid and don't be normal, guys.